We're on your side with tonight's cover story, safety on the bus. Tonight at 6 o'clock, we told you about underreporting of crimes on city buses. But there's even more to that story. According to data we received from Charlotte Area Transit System, there have been 60 assaults and assaults with weapons on CATS property this year. But that number does not line up with data CATS gave the Federal Transit Administration, which funds local public transit systems. Only 6 security incidents were reported to the FTA, not the 60. We're going to talk to our investigative reporter David Hodges about this in just a moment. But first, some quick background on the dangerous incidents reported on CATS buses. Here's some of David's report at 6 o'clock. Take a listen.
Data that CATS reports to the Federal Transit Administration shows Charlotte has reported 20 operator injury incidents so far in 2022, the 7th most injuries to bus operators nationwide, only trailing cities like New York, Atlanta, and Washington.
You will notice our performance metrics for safety in each of our operating divisions.
And even data CATS provided to the Metropolitan Transit Commission in August shows 21 injuries to bus employees and customers between May and July.
But since that incident, we've operated several million miles without incident.
I reached out to CATS for an explanation. CATS Safety and Security General Manager David Moskowitz says Lewis was referring specifically to operator assaults, not all safety incidents. And CATS operators tell us even reporting a safety issue is difficult.
And so they asked me, was there security or officer at Airwood Station, which there was not. So they asked me if I could call 911, step off the bus and call 911.
Our David Hodges joins us now here in studio, and I can't help but think we see the bus drivers there. They lost one of their own in violence. I mean, how frustrated are they by all of this?
It's pretty disappointing for them because ever since that incident, they're telling me they had not noticed any changes in security on these buses. And that's backed up what I learned from CATS today. There's supposed to be this new memorandum of understanding with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. They planned on putting another $2 million towards that for safety and security on rail and bus lines. That has not been signed yet. So there just is not any noticeable change that the operators can see according to what they're telling me.
Just talk about the importance, right, that these numbers are to both riders and the drivers themselves.
Yeah, well, so the numbers are really what you use to decide how much money you're going to give this issue. How real is this problem? At the federal level, the Federal Transit Administration, they fund a lot of local transit projects in Charlotte and in other cities across the country. If there's an uptick in crime that's happening on buses, maybe that's something that's worth addressing from that perspective. And then locally, of course, too, you use these numbers to say how big is this problem that we need to address within our budget. The bigger and more real the number is, the more likely you are to actually spend money on it.
Are there parts of this picture that we still don't have into focus quite yet?
Yeah, we definitely need copies of the incident reports that show what type of assault reports these are, assaults with weapons. This is information that we've asked from CATS Police. That's run by Private Security, Allied Universal. We do not have those records yet. That would give us a much better look at what's going on.
What about the number of injuries to these operators? Are there other things in the data here to be found on that topic?
What really struck me when going through all this national transit data is that they rank 7th in total injuries to operators, but 17th in collisions. So that kind of begins to tell you, well, maybe there's more than meets the eye here with collisions. The types of transit authorities that are ranked above them in injuries, I mean, they operate way more miles, are way bigger systems. So what really makes up those injuries? Even if they're slip and fall, that's supposed to be one of these events that's only being reported as 6.
And we still have to wait to see what kind of thing could happen, because what they're reporting to the federal government is obviously different than...
Federal government typically doesn't like that.
No, typically not. I know you'll keep on the story. David, appreciate you stopping by and walking us through it. All of David's reporting, by the way, on our website. Head to WBTV.com. David, thank you.
Thank you.
Tell us your thoughts about all this. You can connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. The hashtag's OYS Tonight. You can also scan the QR code to get to our